right, what is going on, everybody? This is going to be my weekly recap for the week ending on June 7th, which is today. Today's Friday. So this week it was not terrible. Definitely better than some of my more recent weeks. I'll have a couple of things I'm going to get to today, but just first, let's just take a second and go over the setups that I took this week. That's the 4 minute chart. Let's go out to the daily, or not the daily. I'm not prepared. It's far enough out so you can see. This is Friday. Oh my goodness, forget how much volume there was this week. All right, so this was my initial setup for Monday pre-market, and it was just didn't work out. Got stopped out. Nothing really complicated or interesting about that one. But I decided after that, I was like, you know what? I've been having a lot of losing weeks. I need to try and figure out some type of rule that I can implement that can help me filter out more setups. I need to trade less because essentially, I mean, if you're taking trade after trade after trade and you're just losing over and over and over and over again, I mean, eventually, I mean, when do you consider it over trading? I don't know. It felt like I've been over trading. Even though in the moment when I put on a trade, I look at a chart and I base it off of the price action, and I don't put on a trade for no reason. But I can get a lot more selective and work on choosing higher probability setups. And so what I decided to do is I'm no longer taking any entries unless I witness a liquidity sweep on a 1 hour time frame. So like for today, for example, let me show you what I did. Where is it? Yeah. So, this is the 4 a.m. hourly candle. So I set my levels to alerts at the top, the high and low of that candle, and sure enough, at the top of the hour, at some point at 5 a.m., there was a break of structure. This candle took down these lows, and I entered short. Initially, I did half size, and then I waited for a uh, a rejection, and I from where I initially entered, and then I had entered my second half here. So this was my first entry for 4 contracts. Entered short, and the price broke down. And once these lows were taken, I entered my other half, and unfortunately, which just is just how the market goes, that was sufficient liquidity for uh, the amount of longs that had accumulated, and price moved back up, stopping me out. So I decided, all right, let me sit back and wait. I still, because I had only taken that Monday setup, I still had one more setup technically for the week, and I still saw this as a high probability pattern, high probability setup. And so I waited for price to break that back down, not just once or twice or 3 times. I waited for a very very clear confirmation here with this exhaustion of buying volume here on this green candle, and the sellers immediately stepping in as soon as it gets to these relative equal highs here. And so entered short, full size 8 contracts, and which, albeit it is technically, I did decide that I was going to be entering in half positions now, which I may or may not continue doing. I think I think I may find that this new, waiting for a liquidity sweep on the 1 hour might allow me the wiggle room to not have to take half size positions anymore. But um, this trade is aside from this trade, I do still plan to enter my position in halves. But because I guess maybe this was a re-entry, and so I was thinking I'm already cutting my risk in half. This was already very clear resistance here around this moving average, and so I saw this as a very reliable place to put a stop, which was not too far. I think I had ultimately about a 3 and 3/4 points of stop loss on these 8 contracts, which is a very tight stop loss. Usually, I would try and have it somewhere closer to 10 points at least. But this one, turned out to be a very good anchor point for my stop. As you can see, uh, these pullbacks here came a little bit close, but did not stop me out, and price continued lower. And as I went into profit, I hit roughly 5.3 or something to 1, and started trailing right behind the 1 minute candles and got stopped out, trailed out here at about $320 profit. So the first position today was a loss for $92, and then the re-entry was 200 or $323. So total profit for today is $231 before commissions or anything. But I'm still, like I said, I've been having some pretty horrible weeks recently, so I'm still sort of climbing my way out of that. And by no means is my account in the green again yet, so I'm definitely not going to be looking to scale anything up whatsoever. As you can tell, I've actually really been dialing back, hence adding more criteria, trying to filter out more trades, be more selective, be more patient, trade less. In other words, and so going into next week, I'm just gonna try and repeat that process and just go into the market, and not feel like I have to take a trade, but just set my levels and chill and just wait for that liquidity sweep. And even after they get the liquidity sweep, still want to make sure that you're not trading into a liquidity grab, right? If I'm looking for a short and I wait for sell side liquidity to get taken, sometimes those are also just points where the market's going to bounce right back. So you want to see that liquidity taken, and then you want to see a downtrend sort of get sustained by another rejection or something. And that's just what I'm going to be focusing on. Yeah, I'm starting to remember about just the idea of your criteria being a filter, and that the stricter you make the criteria, the more selective you're going to end up being, and the fewer trades you're going to take, the usually higher probability trades you're going to be ending up taking more, versus if you have fewer criteria or more lax criteria that allows you to trade more setups, you're going to trade more setups, but you're going to be trading a lot more low probability setups. You're not going to be trading the setups that are most likely to play out in your favor. So that's going to do it for this week. I hope all of you have a wonderful weekend. I am going to be on vacation next week from my job, so I might decide to switch it up and trade the New York Open, since I'm not going to be working the night shift. I'm not going to be able to have I'm not going to have to worry about sacrificing sleep and waking up early after getting off of work at 4 or 5 a.m. So we might test that out, see how it goes. But yeah, still working with the same formula, just taking little tweaks here or there. But all right, that's going to do it, and I will see you all next week.